everyone. Welcome to Gallery Dotwalk. We are here to view the show In the Blink of an Eye. So I am here, Smitha, as part of representing Shruti Ramalinga, who is a curator of In the Blink of an Eye. This show is on from 30th July to the 10th of September. And it captures the works of 10 different artists from across the country, from multiple states. And it reflects different diverse practices and approaches of each and every artist. The show is an attempt to reflect on the time that is non-linear. The exhibition here, it probes viewers to rethink what it means to be constantly on the move and slow down. The different artists who are participating in the show are Smitha Vadakath, Chandan, Jyoti Basu, Kundan Mondal, Nathan Gopi, Prajakta Palak, Rachna Nagulkar, Saju Kunyan, Shruti Mahajan and Sneha Mehra. So let's take you through the show. We are starting with Jyoti Basu, whose work, as you walk through the gallery or as you enter the gallery, you will find the works of Jyoti Basu here. Jyoti's work is in paper in various mediums like charcoal, acrylic and graphite. He's actually here, he surprises us with a very looming landscape. The land or space is so unfamiliar, and he takes us into a fantasized and endless horizon or thought process, those that seem to be unstoppable or unreachable, but reforming in that moment. So it's actually a collage of Jyoti's work. From there, we are going to move ahead to a large canvas of Sneha Mehra. It's a large canvas, it's a huge canvas. And as we go through the canvas, Sneha Mehra, of course, she's from Baroda, and her works are realized through research-based interventions on field or on site as a basis that she references coming back to the studio. If you go through the work, you can actually get a mixed intuition or a rigor or spontaneity. The painting actually carefully eliminates the details as seen in the photographs. The viewer is laid into a space that once was a very soothing landscape. The work asks us to zoom further to what is being seen. It's nothing but subtle infusions of trash, plastic at the end of the road, or at the edge of the road rather, or the tombstones reaching far out of sight. Critics have an idea of romanticizing a place. From there, we are moving on to the beautiful work of Saju. The image actually transferred on a recycled wood by Saju are interventions into excavating fragmented recollection about his ancestral house. The artist here says that he does get an idea about this by interviewing a few of his family members. It is more of a sensory process that unfolds in bits and pieces, like a story changing its course every time it is uttered and heard. So the three works of Saju Kunyan clearly depicts that. There's yet another work of Saju Kunyan as we walk through the gallery, which again depicts a beautiful place, a house. From there, we are moving on to Kundan's work that focuses on history, culture and conflicts of present times. The artist here interprets as a blinking imagery of sparkles, sickle, insects and crackling surfaces. The work focuses on the events around you. Know of something called a burning books in the historical and today's context. The title Fahrenheit 451 takes on the auto ignition temperature of paper after Ray Bradbury's book. From Kundan, we are moving on to Prajakta Pallab's work. And these are the 8 bush of handmade paper, and she developed this during the lockdown period. In the work titled Waiting, waiting becomes a method and a process for observing the changes in her surroundings. She would drive on her work, from her home to the studio to her studio, and this travel experience of work from home to the studio in the times of disconnect to the outside world, that of meeting and engaging with people, community, seemed removed for the artist. Her experience at home, in and around the studio, just waiting, slowing down, maybe as situation demands, becomes a starting point that actually has developed into a series of work. In how the plays and the artist's everyday action unfold treasures, textures and forms, Prajakta fuses these forms with colors and blurred brushworks on paper. So as we move on further, we could see a few more works of Jyoti Basu. And then further on we move, you will find work of Rachna Nagarkar. Rachna predominantly works in painting that actually captures the city of Mumbai, which, as most of you know, is the most populated city in the country, with high-rise structures surround smaller, and plus, these high-rise structures are actually surrounded by smaller accommodations in the suburbs that disregard the vulnerable section of the society. In reflecting on a personal, association as a resident of the city and as an observer of this city, Mumbai, she acknowledges the locality of this place and the inflow of people, the number of people that comes into the city. In referencing a photographic image, the artist is for us as an observer, as if she draws on a line or a point in the gallery space for viewing experience that is moving across from one point to another. The painting, in the absence of people and movement, if you carefully go through the work, reflects an expanded gap between social and economic realities. So further on from Rachna's work, we are moving on to Shruti Mahajan. Shruti's work especially in this work, if you see, presents her exploration that traces notions of break, passage and movement. Exploring many meanings of a curly bracket or a function and form is a series of 7 minimal looking yet resemble as a part of some architectural drawn on acid-free paper. It asks us to think on how do we make sense of the realities, or what is it to be unessential or strategize to make something invisible. On the other hand, the work title Scales, which is just now as you see it, transcends into an abstraction of shapes as rising from the artist's reference to an 18th century staircase. So the artist lends us a space as if letting us imagine of times we spent in the act of walking a path or rather climbing a stairs that could seem never ending, in anticipation of us reaching a destination or an end maybe. Scales are the formless waves of grace, of unclear, seemingly short-lived times in the act and thought. So that's Rachna's, that is Shruti's work for you. And from there, we are moving on to a few smaller works of Smitha Vadakath, whose huge canvas we did see towards the beginning of this view. Few more untitled works of Smitha Vadakath here. One work of Jyoti Basu. And then Rachna Nagarkar for you. Again, she's reflecting here the city of Bombay or Mumbai, the most populated city, but you will hardly find any people in this painting of hers. So, Chandan Barwa, this particular painting somewhere in the northeastern side of India, northeast India. Chandan is an artist who, after moving to Delhi, worked and lived in the city for about a decade. And meanwhile, at any point of time, if he feels like escaping from this urban concrete jungle, the artist would travel into the forest and mountains of Guwahati, where he was raised and where he currently resides. His woodcut series somewhere in the northeast India, it is primarily as an emotive response to his hometown. The work actually develops into a second series that evokes a deep understanding of the effects of deforestation. Without a human presence, these photographs print in sharp light black, and black is anything but a familiar landscape for the viewers to further meditate. In front of a video, and this is by Saji Kanikar, and the artist is actually his birthplace is in Goa, and here he derives from whatever he could recollect from his childhood memories of his birthplace in Goa. He regenerates, or he tries to regenerate a place and a time by revisiting his memories to let his body react to the past while in the present. In its intricacy of 3 frames, the video evokes a sense of commitment from the viewer to listen to the sound and to the visuality. Each artist, in this exhibition, who has exhibited their works here, would want to explore the events, which could be anything from their own experience or from whatever they could get from the community as a collective effort, or an experience which was shared by their family members or anyone for that matter from the past or even recent times. They reflect on the many meanings of memories. So this show is actually an attempt, to reflect on the time that is non-linear. The exhibition actually tries to, or really wants, or here this exhibition actually probes the viewer, to rethink on what it means to be constantly on the move and to slow down. And as I said earlier, the 10 artists are from different parts of India and with diverse practices and approach. So as we move ahead, we have another huge work of Mithun Gobi. So, Mithun Gobi, this series actually of work by Mithun are a take on real incident, and imagining it profusely invested in critiquing the migration that followed with mass displacement of people and children as dark and unspoken. This actually comes up after an event in 2019 that the artist read in a newspaper about hundreds of people who sailed from Kerala and who just got displaced, and many went on missing. Mithun focuses on the idea of home and the uncertainty of choices, promises, and the glorified claims of better lifestyle and opportunities to move from one place to another, as in this episode. The imagery is afloat on an expanded space, and the space is made of handmade paper pulp technique, combined with text, images of objects, and sometimes body parts. And these are recurring in his work. To the right side, you will find works again of Chandan. So Chandan is from Kudupik's works or places in the forest of Guwahati. Looking forward to meeting you all. Thank you.